Good morning, everyone. Happy Monday to you all. And welcome to Momentum Monday. This is that day of the week where I come in, I give you that tool, that tip, that thing you're going to need in order to start this week strong and end even stronger. And so today we're going to simply be talking about this phrase right here. Every day? You mean every day? For some, it's going to be a declaration that yes, every day. And for some, it's a question mark. Like, you really want me to do this every day? And so I am Coach Williams, Cassandra Williams of Cassandra Williams Enterprise, your life tactician, and the founder of Wise Build. And I just believe, y'all, that we can make every day count, right? Let's just say it like that. I believe every day counts. And so as I was getting ready to get good morning, Tiffany, as I was getting prepared for the week, I began to really think about some things. I began to think about breaking habits. I began to think about, my shirt says self love. I began to think about breaking old habits. Then I began to think about building new habits, right? And the one thing that you have to have is consistency. Whether you're breaking something or you're building something, you got to be consistent because otherwise it's going to be half done, right? And so I don't want you to half do anything, right? So last week we talked about assignments, the difference between a goal and an assignment, right? That assignment is that thing that has a deadline, it pushes you, it motivates you, it doesn't leave you alone. A dream, we may have, we can kind of have some dreams that are not assignments sometimes, okay? So a dream is a wish almost, especially if it does not have a deadline to it. It's just a wish. I might do it, I might not. Growing up, you may have had those dreams where you dreamed of going into show business and it has not happened. But that does not mean that your assignment has not come to pass and that you're not walking in that thing, right? And so we're going to be talking about this thing of every day. Most of us, when we think about that, now I know for me, I think the example that I use is I think about working out, where they say you have to move your body every day, right? Now here's the thing, y'all. When they say things like that to us, right? When we're looking in that place, okay? When we're looking at those things, and you know when they say you have to move your body every single day, they never really tell you what to do, but we start assuming, right? We start making assumptions. I got to get on the treadmill every single day. I got to go run through the neighborhood every single day. And that may be your thing. But if it's not, you've got to find out what's best for you. Recently, I began to start to do I did assisted stretching, and now I've found a few routines that I like that I do at home, right? But here's the thing, I got to do it every day. See, there are some things I can do once a week. Some things I can do once a month. I come out here, I do Momentum Monday once a week. There are certain things I meet with the Gold Club ladies once a month, right? But my stretching, I'm going to have to do that every day if I want the benefits. How many times have we looked at something and we said we want the benefits? We want the blessing of it, but we don't want to put in the work. You've got to put in the work. And for some of you, for some things, yes, you're going to have to show up every day. You're going to have to get out of it. There's no quick way around it. There's nothing that you can do that's going to, because you got to show up every single day. Well, coach, I can go and I can have the bypass surgery. You absolutely can, but you still got to eat the way they tell you to eat every single day. Because guess what'll happen? The weight's going to come back on, right? All of the things are going to fall back into the normal routine that is used to, right? And so I want to encourage you today to put in the work every single day. That's how you build legacy. That's how you build up healthy frameworks. You got to choose to forgive every day. Forgiveness is not a one and done. Let me just help somebody today. When you say, I forgive somebody, but that thing keeps rising up, you got to choose every single day. I forgive. I choose to forgive. I choose to move forward. I choose to allow them. Here's another one. I choose to allow them to grow. When we begin to hold people accountable, right? We begin to hold people accountable. We want them to embrace what we want them to do immediately. But sometimes there's growing pains. Sometimes we've got to endure their transition to the new thing that we have set in place because we didn't have boundaries before. But now that you do, you can't make them do anything. We have a 19-year-old in our house. And so we come from a different space, time, and place. And so there are certain things where it's normal for them, but it's not normal for us, right? And so there's a little bit of a learning curve as he's getting older, that there's certain things he feels like he should be able to do. But guess what? You're not going to do that ever with your mama or your daddy. No, we're not doing that. We're not those kind of parents, right? And so there's learning, there's growing pains, there's a learning curve there where we have to establish the boundaries, and we got to hold them and hold him accountable, and vice versa. We have to hold ourselves accountable, because you can't ask somebody to do something that you're not willing to do. Okay, let's say that again. You can't ask people to do something that you're not willing to do yourself every day. Yeah. You got to show up. You got to show up, and sometimes you've got to be the very thing that you want to see every day. Because the one day you don't. We just came off of the holiday, and so normally I just throw caution to the wind. It's a holiday, I'm just going to do whatever. But I was actually very good, y'all, this year. I was like, oh, I did not go off the rails. Why? Because I am training myself to allow myself. Now listen, I had some good old barbecue, I did, but I didn't just 100% throw caution to the wind and eat any and everything and cause my body to be inflamed. Why? Because I'm learning I have to be conscious, and I have to do this every single day. Now, that does not mean that I'm doing what you do. It doesn't mean I'm doing what the next person does. It means I'm doing what God has ordained me to do. And as I listen to my body, I'm showing up. I'm giving myself, that's what my shirt says, I'm giving myself self love every day. I love me every single day. And you can listen. I know some of y'all are going to show up for the world, but don't forget to show up for yourself. If showing up for everybody else begins to affect your health, and your body begins to scream at you, listen, please, and thank you. Listen. Why? Because your body is telling you you're giving more to everybody else than you're giving to yourself. Stop it. Because you only have one, and we've got to take care of it. And I don't care if you're 50, 60, 70, 40, 20, you've got to take, it's never too late to start taking care of yourself. It's never too late. And you've got to do it daily. In the upcoming workshop, we're going to talk about givers and takers, right? That in life we have givers, we have takers, right? We should have givers and receivers, but we have takers, and those takers are those people that are going to take everything that you give and give you nothing in return. See, giving and receiving is reciprocal, and there should be a continuous flow. But give and take means I'm going to take until I can't take anymore, and then I'm going to leave. So y'all join me in the Flow Workshop, July 16th and 17th. That's next week, next Wednesday and Thursday. Get in the workshop. If you want in, say me. Just put me in the chat, and I will reach out to you to get your email address so that I can send you the link. It is via Zoom, okay? So that's my commercial break for today, the Flow Workshop. I am so excited about that. So today, there are some things you're going to have to do every day, which means you're going to have endurance, because you're going to wake up some days and you're not going to want to. You're not going to want to. There are some days where I go really, 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 really hard. And I had to learn, my body was screaming at me like, no, ma'am, we're not doing that. Right. And some of you have tried to beat people into submission. You've tried to beat your body into submission. And your body is like, listen, I'm not doing that. I'm not going to do that. So why not find what works best for you that you can do on a consistent basis? The Bible clearly tells us that we can get more with honey than we can with vinegar, right? Meaning sweet words, not manipulative. Now let me just help some people. Let me help some people, okay? I'm not telling you to be manipulative. That's not what I'm saying. But what I am saying that even a hard word said in love can yield what it's supposed to yield. Okay? It can yield a harvest, but it's got to be done in love, not just out of your emotions and how you're feeling in that moment. Good morning, Toya. Thanks for being here this morning. So, I'm going to give y'all, I want you to be able to endure whatever that thing is that you're having to put your hands to do. And yes, you got to do it every day. You got to do it every day. And so I'm going to give you these 7 affirmations and then I'm going to let you get back to your day, okay? Number 1, I am strengthened daily to do the work God has given me. Every single day. Matthew 6:11 said, give us this day our daily bread. I am strengthened daily to do the work God has given me. So when you start looking over there, you start looking over here, and I start looking at Tiffany, and I'm seeing what Tiffany's doing. I'm looking at Toya and seeing what she's doing. They may not be called to do what I'm doing right now. So guess what? I have to understand that I am strengthened for what I am called to do, and I'm not called to do what they're called to do. I can encourage them. I can be their cheerleader. I can rah rah. But am I supposed to be doing what they're supposed to be doing? You have to pray about that. You have to ask, okay? So that's number 1. I am strengthened daily to do the work God has given me. Number 2, I will not grow weary in well doing. My harvest is on the way. I will not grow weary in well doing because my harvest is on the way. The Galatians 6:9 said, let us not grow weary in well doing, for in due season. I know summer, spring, summer, fall, but there is a due season that if you faint not, but you gotta faint, you gotta keep going. You gotta keep pressing in. You gotta keep moving. You gotta keep showing up for yourself. You gotta show up for you. I know you show up for everybody else, but you gotta show up for you as well. Okay. Number 3, the joy of the Lord fuels my consistency. Nehemiah 8:10. The joy of the Lord is my strength. See, there's a difference between feeling good. There's a difference between I like being happy. Okay? I like being happy, but I had to understand the joy of the Lord as well. Because sometimes I have joy without happiness. I can still have the joy of the Lord, and I may not be in the happiest place of my life. Okay? So listen, the joy of the Lord fuels my consistency. Okay? Number 4, I walk in divine discipline and grace, for he corrects me and carries me. Now, we don't like that part, right? Listen, we like the carry part. Carry me, Lord. He carries me, and we're excited about that. But he also corrects us. He also have to say, now listen, that's not what I told you to do. No, ma'am, you can't show up like that. Nope, you shouldn't have said that. Nope, you have to do it like this, right? So he corrects us, for the Lord disciplines the one he loves. Oh, can you understand that some of the things that we get, we get that pat on the hand and we say that no is because he loves us, not because we're rejected, not because we're abandoned, not because he don't care. It's because he loves us that he corrects us. There are sometimes he have to say, now listen, ma'am, I need you to get up. I need you to show up for you. I need you to be in this place, in this space. I need you to come away with me and spend time with me every day. I'm not one of those that I do the same thing every day. That's not how my life works. I don't do the same thing every day, but I do show up every single day. Number 5, God is producing endurance in me through every test and routine. So everything that I go through, everything that's happening, everything that is coming my way is teaching me endurance. Let endurance have its full effect from James 1 and 4. That endurance, that steadfastness, being unmovable, y'all. Things are going to happen. I'm sorry if somebody told you that this life was gonna be happy, happy, joy, joy every single day. I'm sorry, they lied to you. Some days you're gonna have to press in. Some days you're gonna be tested. Some day you're gonna have to be like, okay, I'm going. I don't want to, but I'm going anyway. My sister was for she committed to doing it's like a weighted hula hoop thing for, and she committed to doing it every day, and she was showing us on social media, and I'm like, ooh, and I was looking at that and I said, no, I'm not gonna be able to do that. But I'm committed to doing something every single day, right? So every test and every routine is just showing you endurance. And it may take a minute for you to realize how strong your body is getting, how strong your spirit is getting, how strong you are, period. You may go through it. Many of us have learned to carry. God told me in one season of my life, He said, you've learned to carry well, which what did that mean? That meant it took a lot to break me. I learned to carry things well. So when it came time to release it to God, sometimes it took me a minute. Why? Because I was so used to carrying it. I had adjusted, I had made the necessary adjustments, and I got it. And God was like, but I want it. And so it took Him a minute to humble me, to get me to the place where I was like, I can't do this anymore. And He said, I know you can't. Give it to me, right? So God is producing endurance in me through every test and routine. I don't move by my emotions, I move by assignment. Y'all, we got to stop being moved, tossed to and fro by emotions. We're going to feel them every day. We're going to feel certain emotions. Sometimes we have all the emotions in a day, right? But what I need you to do is to understand what your assignment is. You hear me talk a lot about assignment, vision, those goals that you have, because those are the things we have to press towards. Those are the things we have to reach for. Those God ordained things. Some things just come. They're distractions, y'all. You're not even supposed to put your time or energy into it. You're not. Because if God gave you this assignment and He gave you this goal, good morning, Renee. Thanks for being here. If He gave you this assignment, He gave you this goal, then guess what? That's what you keep pushing forward. And anything that comes to try to get you to take your eyes off that prize, to get you to take your eye off that goal, because even if God takes you through a detour, the end goal doesn't change. The assignment doesn't change even in the detour. I've been in some detours and I was like, this don't look right, because guess what? The detour takes you around something that would cause delay, right? We don't like detours because we be like, now listen, I know where I'm going and we're supposed to go this way. But when they're doing road construction, they're building things and there's things going on that you may not know. They say, okay, we're gonna detour you around to keep you from getting stuck in this traffic, right? So, or if there's an accident or something that has happened, they detour you. Your destination doesn't change because of the detour. They're still trying to get you there. So don't get moved by the emotion. Don't get moved by the frustration. Don't get moved by those feelings. Move by the assignment. Be steadfast, immovable, always abounding in the work of the Lord, from 1 Corinthians 15 and 58. And then this is your last affirmation for today. Even when no one sees it. Okay. Even when no one sees it, God rewards my faithfulness. You've got to know that. That even if nobody else claps for you, you have to know, be able to hear when God says, well done. Cause see, sometimes we need that here on earth. I know when I get to heaven, and that's the goal, right? When I get to heaven, for him to say, well done, thy good and faithful servant, enter into your rest. That he allows me to come in and rest. Listen, be with him forever. That is the ultimate goal. But listen, I want to hear him say, well done down here on the earth. I want to hear him when I have to do the hard thing, for him to say, I'm proud of you. When he knew I stood, Tiffany, when he knew I stood for him, in him, with him, that he's able to say, I'm proud of you. Thank you for standing for me. Some of you are standing for God in this season with things that are going on, that he's calling you to do things that may look different from what everybody else is doing. It may be a hard thing, but you're doing it because you love him. And he's like, thank you. And he said, if you can just endure as a good soldier, he said, I see you. And great is your reward. And you got to understand that some of that stuff is going to happen on this side. In the earth, there's some things that I'm like, God, nah, I'm going to see this in the land of the living. But you got to endure. You got to be consistent. You got to be persistent. You got to be in the place you need to be in for it to show up when it shows up. If he tells me to be at, let me just use Walmart. He tells me today is July 7th. He says, on July 7th, I need you to be in Walmart at 12 o'clock. If I'm not in Walmart today at 12 o'clock, then guess what? I missed something. Because something was there in Walmart at 12 o'clock for me. But guess what? I wasn't in Walmart. I was in the house. Or I was at lunch or wherever it was that I was at. And God was like, no. He was like, it showed up, but you weren't there. So you have to know that God sees when nobody else does. When nobody else is applauding, God is applauding you. He rewards our faithfulness. Matthew 6:6. Your Father who sees what is done in secret will reward you openly. And when he starts to reward you, when he starts to pat you on the back, when he starts to say, well done, people won't remember. They didn't see what you did every day. That they didn't see how you showed up. They didn't see how you were obedient. That they didn't see the every day, the steps you took every single day to get to this point. They just see your now. So when people start to get jealous of you, it's okay. Let them be jealous. You ain't got to clap back. You ain't got to say nothing back to them. All you got to do is keep showing up every single day. Keep living. Because guess what? Sometimes people have to remind me things that I've walked through, because I'll be like, well, because sometimes I'm baffled at how I got here and wherever your here is, right? And so I have to say, God, and sometimes people say, girl, I remember when you and your husband was sharing one car and you was going to work. You was sleeping because you would go to work and go to sleep because you was being dropped off at 6:30 in the morning so that he could get to work. And then you would catch the bus in the afternoon to get home because y'all was sharing a car. I forgot about that. I forgot about the times where we were sitting there and God would say, do this, do this, do this. And I'm like, oh, okay. And we do it exactly how God said do it. And then all of a sudden, we get a phone call or something. Somebody say, hey, I'm at the bank. I'm going to put some money in your account. Not knowing, we was like, okay, we just going to go on. We going to keep it moving. And we showed up every single day. And so now, so be careful of looking at somebody's now. you don't know what they've walked through to get to now. And you want their now, that means you got to walk through those steps in their journey to get to what they have. All right. So I love y'all. Those are our 7 affirmations for today, because we are going to endure and we're going to show up every single day. We're going to be consistent in the things that God has told us to do every single day. Okay. And so here is one of the things that God has told me to do. He has told me to host the Flow Workshop July 16th and 17th. If you want in, put me in the comments and then I'm going to send you a message, or you can just simply DM me and say, hey, I want in, and give me your email address and we will get you signed up for the Flow Workshop. Okay. It would be myself and Lisa Stringer Bailey. I am so excited to have her with me talking about um, investing, right? The different types of investments that we can do, including she's going to talk to us about life insurance and, things of that nature. And whatever she can't answer, she knows people that can, right? Because it's time out for us to just be going along to get along and not be empowered concerning our money and what happens to us after we're no longer here. What happens to your money? Are you just going to leave it to your kids to go through? Maybe you don't have kids. What is going to happen? You're going to leave it for the government to decide? No, we're not doing that, right? So we're going to keep legacy going. We're going to keep the flow going. And so that's the Flow Workshop, July 16th and 17th. Again, you can go to www.thecattandrawilliams.com and learn more information as we get closer. That will be next Wednesday and next Thursday. Okay. So go out there and be great this week, because I believe that you can start this week strong and end it even stronger. But guess what you're going to have to do? You're going to have to show up every day. Every day. Do something every single day. Stop giving yourself days off, because you give yourself this day off, then you take the next day off, you take the next day off, you take the next day off, and now you're back to doing what you've always done instead of staying consistent, persistent, and pursuing those good things that God has for you, whether it be wealth, whether it be health, whether it be your spirituality. You got to show up for you every single day. Okay? I love y'all. Have an amazing rest of your week. I am Coach Williams, your life tactician, where I help high achieving women remove the mask, show up for themselves unapologetically, and lead from a place of healing, not hiding. And I will see you guys next week for Momentum Monday. Be blessed, everyone. Bye bye.